Alright guys, into this video we are going to show you how to create a simple wine label inspired by Mark Rothko. Mark Rothko is a famous painter. It is the pioneer of abstraction, and one of his famous punchline was, the painting is not a picture of an experience. It is an experience. You can check his bio, in the link below. To do this, let's create a new document into Photoshop. So you press Ctrl N, or you go into File, New Document. So the size we're gonna use, it's gonna be something that's gonna fit our bottle here. So I'm gonna click on the width, and I'm gonna set 5.5. That's gonna be convert into your own unit, and 8.348. The resolution is gonna let to 300 dot per inches. The color setting is gonna be in RGB as low, and you're gonna let the content of the background in white. Let's create this. So you get something like this. Into it, the first element we're gonna do is to insert one painting of Mark Rothko into it. There are several ways to do it. What I like to do is that we need the photo really get inside of this element. You can go to File or Import and Insert, and we are going to pick this image that you just downloaded before. So let's go and import. If you press enter by mistake, don't worry, you can grab this element again. So let's admit that I press enter to validate this element. You can still press Ctrl T in order to manually transform. What I want to do is to grab the more space that I can with this paint here. So you can hold Alt to keep the center of gravity, and yeah, put your element just like this. I want something like, not gonna grab the whole image, but one part of the image, something like this. Okay, if you want to be sure that your image is gonna be centered, you can unlock the background with Control, select the both element, and if you had the select tool here, you're gonna see that on the top menu you're gonna have some alignment tool. So now it doesn't react because I'm already centered. You can as well use the smart guide in order to see that you are centered here. To activate this, you can press Ctrl H, or you can go into this settings, display, and go for the extras here. So here we go, we got our painting here. So my first layer is my background. You can rename it BG, and the Mark Rothko already is renamed. Yes, picking the name that was in the file. So now we are going to just put a little bit of label here, tiny element. So there is both way to do that. You can of course create a new layer and select an ellipse tool in order to create your round shape, your label like this. But the problem is that if you play too much with it, you're gonna lose some resolution on it. Okay, this is not exactly the type of tool that you need, and if you make it large, you're gonna see that there is a lot of scaling problem like this. So in order to have something clean like this, we are going to use the vector tool in Photoshop. Okay, so this kind of tool allow you to create some rectangle, ellipse, polygon, personalized shape, this kind of stuff. Okay, so it's more convenient because it's scalable to the infinite. In order to do it, you're gonna need to just drag, and if you want a perfect round shape like this, you're gonna hold Shift. Okay, and now if I'm holding Alt, you're gonna see that it keeps the center of gravity from my first click. Okay, I'm gonna re-show you, just erasing this. So if I'm clicking here, I know that my center, for example, is right here. Okay, you can as well press Ctrl T, and you can, with this kind of element here, by pressing Ctrl R, you can grab your element to put some kind of guidelines. So you can press Ctrl T, you can drag this element, hold Alt to put that any other way, and now I get something that's gonna help me. I didn't display it, so I can yeah, I have to show these extras here by pressing Ctrl H. So you can see that I got my guideline here. So I can pick my element here. I'm gonna click from here. I'm just left clicking, and from now I'm pressing Alt and Shift. Now I'm sure that it's on the center. Okay. So you pick the foreground color here. You can change the color by picking the one that you want into it. You can even, if you want to have another color that are into your element, you have to click on this little tiny square here. That's gonna allow you to pick one color from your background or whatever other image. So as you can see, that's working very well here. You can set up some very precise elements. You can also do some stuff with some style guidelines. You can do really lots of stuff with it. Okay, but the main component, the main feature of this stuff is that it's scalable to the infinite, and even if I zoom in a lot, you're gonna have exactly the same resolution that than your document. Okay, so from here, I'm going to set another logo into it. If you want to get rid of this stuff, you can just grab it and put that onto the side. Okay, it's really something that you can grab, put that, then just put that here. Okay, you can move that the way you want. So we are going to insert another image by File, Import, and we are going to take the rows here. Okay, so it's already big and already with a transparency into it. You can see because there is some transparency all around that it's shown by this little square. So you're gonna press Ctrl T and Alt Alt in order to keep the proportion, okay, to keep it homothetic. So you're gonna have our tiny logos here. If you want to change the color of this element, to put it white, for example, something like this, there are several ways to do it. You can go into the FX for the special effect and put colors into it, okay? Color incrustation here. So as you can see, you can manage the opacity and lots of different elements like this. You can also add multiple effects on this element, but here are a contour or other element like this. But now I just want to add a new color, so I'm gonna untick this one, click OK. So there is the first technique. Okay, that's really convenient because you can, for example, copy paste this element. I can copy the style here and paste the style and this new element. So this is why it's becoming white. So you can, of course, put this element off. Okay, I'm just gonna press Ctrl C in order to cancel. There is another way to do it. You can, as though in the adjustment layer, add a solid color and pick your color here. So you can see that it's normal that you have the whole white background on the top because you have to use a feature of Photoshop that is called the clipping mask. That's going to say to this white background that you're going to be displayed just in this shape. Okay, really easy to do. You just have to hold Alt and check my mouse here, just behind the layers here, in between, in fact, the two layers, you're going to have this icon if you hold Alt. Once you have this icon, you left click, and as you can see, change the color. So now it's even more easy to change. If I want to change the color here, you can see that I can even grab more easily this color. Okay, so that's very convenient. So that's why it's for our image and the little tool like this. So now let's add the text. Okay, to add the text in Photoshop, you can use the text tool. You press T. Okay, you're gonna see that the shortcut is written down just right here. So press T, click onto your Canva, and there's already set as some lorem ipsum random text. Okay, just to show you how it's going. So the element that we are going to type, it's gonna be detail chime. Okay, so I've copied this from my project. Okay, detail chime, and the font that I'm gonna use. So you can double click to change this. You can validate when it's done. If you want again to edit your text, you just have to double click. I'm going to change on the top menu here the colors. Maybe I want something like this, a little bit more reddish color. And the font that I just used was Myriad Pro at the moment. You can also use some other other font. Yeah, Mark Pro is gonna be okay into this kind of stuff. You can as low into the text add some other typekit elements, but once you've done this, you have to just restart your Photoshop. So I'm gonna go with Mail Pro into this element. What you can do is low. First, how to display this element. Okay, once you double click into your layer text here, if you press Ctrl T again, it's gonna transform the element. It's gonna give you the character panel here. So that's allow me to change some elements into it. You can change, of course, the font, the same option than here, but you have some more option into it. You have something that could be useful. It's the kerning. It's the spacing between the two elements. So let's check if I'm putting 300. You're gonna see that the space is really more. You have more space between letters. That's all. So once you're ready with it, you just have to press OK here, and so just yeah, and you're gonna have your text like this. Okay, so how to be sure again that it's fit into the center? You just have to pick it with the select tool and to see that it's boom. It's gonna be stick to the center with the smart guidelines. Okay, so now I'm gonna use another copy paste to put my second text. If you want to grab the same style, you can duplicate your layer here. You can grab it and put that onto this icon. First way to do that, you can right click and say duplicate the layer. Okay, copy the layer. So, and you can as well press Ctrl J. Okay, so now you're gonna have a copy of this element. You can press Shift in order to go on the same guideline here. It's not mandatory, but you can still do that. And onto this element, I'm gonna put the other type of wine. It's a Grau Burgunder. You can comment in your own language what is Grau Burgunder for you. For me, it's a Pinot Gris. So I'm gonna make it really, really tiny. Yep, just in order to, I can even, just for the purpose of the style, change the color of this element and put something into, yeah, a color that it's a little bit even less aggressive into this element. Okay, so that's going to create some kind of hierarchy into this element, and you can still modify the style of our element here. So here we are nearly ready with this kind of element. I can put, for example, the website here. So I'm gonna again I'm gonna show you the last way that you can duplicate a layer. You know that this one, the Grau Burgunder layer, is select. So if you have the select tool just right here, you can hold Alt, click, and drag. That's going to create another layer. So now you just have to double click into your layer text and paste your element. That's really too big here. What I can do is when I click onto my text, I can align this to the center, and you can, for example, change the color to something more more smooth here. I have as well to change the size of my element, so you can even go like this in 6 point, for example, something like this. So you can see that it seems that it didn't understand the fact that it's put that into the center, but keep in mind that it's the text inside of the box that it's centered. Okay, it's not centered relative to my element, so it's more easy to grab your text and see that. So sometimes it could get some difficulties because there got a lots of elements it tried to align. So you just have to go smoothly, and you can do something like this. Maybe we need to put that in even more discrete color. I'm gonna choose something like this. Yeah, it's gonna be nearly invisible. Okay, I want something very smooth into this part. So that's done. It's then after it's up to you. It's up to your own artistic choice. Okay. Now we are going to save this. Control S. So it's gonna be my Rothko label here. It's gonna be my version 2 for me. Okay, and I'm gonna save it as a PSD Photoshop document here. Now what I can do is open the detail shine exercise. It was already open. So you're gonna grab this element here, and you can as well drag and drop it directly into Photoshop, or you can just open it with file, open, okay, or you can press Ctrl O. That's gonna lead you to the same element. I'm gonna use this now because that was our first inspiration, and I want to integrate our element into it. So now instead of import just like this, we're gonna import a link, and you're gonna choose your Rothko label. Okay, so it keeps the same proportion. This is why we use the 5 and 5 and 8.3 centimeters size for our document. So you're gonna see that it fit not so bad. I just need to adjust a little bit here. I want to warp this element onto it. So first you can right click to warp. Okay, so here you can right click and go for warp element. So you can here just pick this element, pick this anchor, and try to make it fit, okay, to your element. You really have to go smooth with this element, okay, to don't have something like this. If you get something like this, not a problem. You can press Ctrl Z, and if you click outside, you're gonna have this kind of message that giving you the fact that you are not onto the anchor point. Okay, so you're gonna smoothly do something like this. Again here, just to give you tricks, and you have to get your point aligned here, so you can still grab your element and so when you press Ctrl T, warp, you need to get this same element onto the same line. So you can for just before put a line here, for example, and when you press Ctrl T and warp, you can have some kind of guide here in order to see that you are well onto the line. Okay, so that just make it more easy and more smooth. Okay, don't need that anymore. I'm going to put that drag it onto the top. So now, why did we put that like this? It's just because that allows us to maybe I just see a tiny detail here. Yeah, I can just modify it a little bit. So now the purpose of this is when you need to create or to create another label or to make some modification. For example, you can see that my circle here is maybe too little. I can go back by double clicking onto my label here, and now we can go to edit and to transform this as we want. Okay, so you can, for example, pick the rows in this element, make it a little bit just more like this, just put some tiny modify stuff. Okay, we are maybe put that in white, and maybe we're gonna need to change the color of this element. So now, as you can see, I don't have any element to change the color. I just have to double click on this, and now we can put that in black, for example. Okay, so as you can see, it's very convenient to do it that way. So we can even change the detail shine element like this. We can put that in black to see how it goes. Yeah, I think it's going pretty good that way as well. Okay, so now I can just save by pressing Ctrl S and close. So now you can see that automatically it's done the change. Okay, so we are done with this Mark Rothko inspirational label. Hope you enjoy it. See you later. Bye bye.